Hello, welcome to Quest for Thunder. I'm Mark. My wife Jean and I are refitting our 1983 Pearson 422, and we're glad you've joined us. If this is your first time visiting Quest for Thunder, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so that you'll receive notification when we upload new content. We're glad you're here. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Welcome to Quest for Thunder and enjoy the video. Thank you. Alright, so here's the piece of core that I'm going to use to replace the old balsa that I dug out of that deck section. This is basically a piece of marine grade plywood. It does have a veneer on it. It's really thin. It's a little thin. I think it's a teak veneer. But it's a piece of junk wood. It was an old shelf. So it'll work just fine. For what I want. Normally, you probably, if you're doing a wholesale deck core replacement, you probably wouldn't want to use this kind of material because it could be very heavy. And balsa or foam core is what you would typically use on most of the deck, not all of it. There would be exceptions where you would want to use a more rigid and dense material, but for weight's sake, you would use something like this. So anyway, I cleaned this up a bit, and what I'll be doing is I will be bedding this to the inner skin from top side. So I'll prepare the inner skin and then I'll wet it out. And then I will wet out the side that I'm going to be placing against the inner skin, and then I will put something heavy on it and let it cure in place. This slit right here is where the chain plate comes up through there, and we'll fill in around this with some thickened. Alright, so the normal procedure for doing this would typically be you know that you have some delamination. You know that maybe you have some wet core, or you suspect that you do, and you can drill to test for that. And you drill some holes, and then you check the drill bit to see what's coming out. And if it's wet, then you keep moving back until you get to the point where you have dry core coming out. And then what you would do is you would basically take a pin or whatever and connect all the drill holes, and that would be your cutting area. That's what you would cut out, and you'd remove the skin and then scarf out the bad coring material and then replace it. When I am ready, I will place them on top of the core material, and I will fit them back together so they fit as closely as possible thusly. And then I will epoxy them in place. So I will have a small line, but it won't be that bad. And of course, I will be going over all of this with a fairing compound. But these things will be adhered to the deck so that they're stabilized based on the. My major concern was just getting this deck opened up and getting that meshy core out of there before it got any worse. As it turns out, it's a little less than a square foot, which is good that I caught it when I did. Could have gotten a lot worse. So anyway, next steps are to prepare the inner skin from top side and wet it out, and then get this core in place, and then we'll let that cure, and then we'll get this top on. So yeah, I'll show you what we're doing when we get to that part. Okay, working again today. So you can see the area that I cut out of the deck. So what I've done here is I have filled all the edges all the way around, all these edges. I've covered them in thickened epoxy. So I've sealed all the edges around, all the way around. And there used to be a hole right there, and it went all the way back here to the back. You can probably see how that is. And that was that was a free communication to to the locker below. So I filled that. I taped it off from the bottom, and then I filled it with thickened epoxy. So this will cure in a couple hours, and it'll be waterproof. And then I should be good to go as far as water. There's a little slit in the deck right there. There's another one right over here that I didn't get epoxy in. I probably should, but I think I'll be all right. Anyway, might be a little leaking in down below with those slits, but I don't think it'll be too bad. Should have gotten epoxy on those. I failed to. And it's getting late, so. Okay, so much for that today. So we're moving on. The next thing to do now is to wet out that whole area once that epoxy cures. So sometime tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, we've got some other things going on tomorrow. We can't get out here tomorrow. So Friday, once that cures, we'll wet that out, get the piece of core material bedded on that side, and let that cure, and then we'll bed the other side, and then put the fiberglass back on top. So it's a slow process, but we're moving.